Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to the channel. If you've ever scrolled through a babymonster comment section, you already know the debate that never dies. Who's really the most popular member? Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because monsties, the numbers behind this question are more complicated and honestly more interesting than anyone expected. Welcome back to Annyeong's story. For months, fans have been throwing around the phrase most popular member like it's a settled fact, but when you actually dig into the platform-by-platform data, babymonster doesn't have one queen sitting on a single throne. It has two, and they're not even competing on the same battlefield. Chiquita and Ahyeon are dominating in completely different corners of the internet, and once you see the split, you can't unsee it. Let's start with Instagram, because this is where Chiquita's numbers get genuinely eye-opening. Engagement trackers monitoring hashtag activity among babymonster members found that Chiquita pulled the highest mention rate of any member, with her hashtag appearing far more consistently than her groupmates during recent tracking windows. She was also flagged as having the most posts crossing into the million-like territory, which is not a small feat when you're one of 7 members all posting from the same official accounts and personal content drops. On a platform built around aesthetic, personality, and that split-second scroll-stopping factor, Chiquita has quietly built herself into the member people can't stop tapping on. And if you think about it, this actually tracks with everything we've seen from her this year. Her Vogue Hong Kong editorial with Balenciaga, her English fluency glow-up that fans have been documenting since her early trainee interviews, her Upkono appearance where she flipped between 2 completely different personalities on camera, all of that content has one thing in common. It's visually driven, it's personality forward, and it's exactly the kind of content Instagram rewards. Chiquita isn't just posting, she's building a visual identity that photographs and edits like it was made for the platform. Every red carpet look, every candid backstage shot, every solo stage still from Worth It on the Ahyeon tour becomes another piece of a puzzle that keeps her engagement climbing. But here's where it gets interesting, because if you flip the map from Instagram to Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, the entire hierarchy flips with it. On Douyin, Ahyeon isn't just leading, she's lapping the field. Tracking data on member hashtag views showed Ahyeon sitting at the top with a staggering 1.74 billion views, putting her not just first within babymonster, but reportedly the highest viewed member among the entire wave of 5th-generation female idols on the platform. To put that in perspective, the next closest member on that same list sat under 1 billion views. That's not a close race. That's a different league entirely. So why is Ahyeon dominating a market that most of her groupmates barely register on? Part of it comes down to visibility and timing. Ahyeon has consistently been positioned at the center of babymonster's most viral moments, from her line distribution leading the Ahyeon era tracks, to her viral heels moment during the Seoul shows, to the kindness clips that spread across every platform, the barbecue restaurant handshake, the Weverse thank you messages to fan accounts, the airport gift exchange in Singapore. Chinese fan communities on Douyin tend to gravitate toward idols who combine skill with an emotionally resonant public image, and Ahyeon checks both boxes. Her KGMA 2026 win, decided by an overwhelming 85.81% of the fan vote, wasn't an isolated moment either. It was a signal that her support base is not just large, it's active, it shows up, and on a platform like Douyin where algorithmic reach rewards sustained engagement over viral spikes, that kind of consistent fan mobilization translates directly into views. Now here's the part that actually matters for understanding babymonster as a group, not just as individuals. This isn't really a story about one member losing to another. It's a story about 2 completely different popularity ecosystems existing inside the same 7-person group. Instagram rewards curated visual identity and personal brand storytelling, which plays directly into Chiquita's strengths as a fashion-forward, editorial-friendly member, with growing crossover appeal into markets like Vogue Hong Kong. Douyin rewards viral moments, emotional resonance, and community mobilization, which is exactly where Ahyeon has been building her base since her earliest viral clips. Quick pause, because if you're new here and you're just discovering how deep Monsty's data culture goes, this is only scratching the surface. Fans track engagement across platforms the way stock analysts track earnings reports, and the reason this matters isn't just bragging rights. It actually shapes how YG allocates opportunities. When a member shows outsized performance on a specific platform or market, that data becomes part of the case for solo content, brand deals, or expanded promotional focus in that region. So when we talk about Chiquita's Instagram dominance or Ahyeon's Douyin numbers, we're not just talking about fan pride, we're talking about the metrics that quietly influence what comes next for each of them. What makes this split even more compelling is that it maps almost perfectly onto each member's public persona. Chiquita has spent the better part of this year cultivating an image that's playful but polished, the kind of magne energy that still reads as fashion-conscious and camera-aware. Every interview clip, every fan cam from CHOM, every casual airport look gets treated like content, and Instagram is the platform built for exactly that kind of curated, image-first following. Meanwhile, Ahyeon has built her reputation on something different: authenticity and warmth that translates across language barriers. You don't need to speak Korean to understand a handshake at a barbecue restaurant or a genuine thank you message. Those moments travel, and Douyin, with its massive short-form video culture, is the perfect amplifier for exactly that kind of universally readable content. Comments across fan communities have picked up on this divide too, with viewers pointing out that Chiquita's content tends to spark discussion around style and visual impact, while Ahyeon's clips are more likely to circulate because of the emotional reaction they trigger. That's not a coincidence. That's two different content strategies working exactly as intended, whether the members and their team planned it that way or not. It's also worth noting that neither of these numbers exists in a vacuum. Babymonster as a full unit has been riding an enormous wave of momentum, from the CHOM World Tour selling out stops from Seoul's Jamsil Indoor Stadium to Kobe's GLI-1 Arena, to the I Like It music video racking up views just weeks after release, to competitors like Illit, Cordis, and Hearts 2 Hearts all fighting for the same fifth-generation spotlight. In that kind of competitive landscape, individual member data isn't just trivia, it's a survival metric. Every hashtag view, every million-like post, every viral clip is part of the larger case for why babymonster, as a group, keeps climbing. So when someone tells you Chiquita is the most popular member, they're not wrong, they're just talking about Instagram. And when someone insists it's Ahyeon, they're not wrong either, they've just been looking at Douyin. The truth, monsties, is that babymonster doesn't need one center of popularity because they've got two members pulling entire platforms in their direction, each one proving that dominance doesn't have to look the same everywhere to be real. Which platform's number surprised you more? Chiquita's Instagram pull or Ahyeon's Douyin takeover? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more deep dives into the data behind babymonster's rise, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next video, monsties. Annyeong.